Descendant and Duty. So this is us tracking Somikawa. The Tamata Bako, a treasure required to obtain immortality. Avi assumes that the descendant of Ise-Shima, whom Ikoma knows, has inherited it. He tries to scheme a way to meet them. Cersei should be able to douse the metal box that had the fish talisman in it. And this also leads to Cersei having a sick battle with Soto. Hello again. Arnar Barnum's back on the scene. Allow me to summarize. Who are you talking to? As expected, Ikoma contacted us today. Why are you talking to me directly? Telling us we'd have to wait a little longer before we could meet the descendant. Thus, figuring he had no intention of letting us meet her anyway, we decided to use Cersei's ability to go looking for the descendant ourselves. Who exactly are you talking to? Hahaha. I'm merely setting the scene. Really feels like it raises the stakes, no? Makes it feel more like a thrilling adventure. Sure, you got me all worked up. But I'm trying to concentrate, so could you please stop distracting me? Oh, right. Sorry. It's been way too long since I've had a sticker. Come on, guys. I need something. Surroundings. This is the town of Ajika in Toba City. The area is one of many in the area renowned for its Ama divers. Look around. Anything on the building? It's all just surroundings. Cersei is completely focused on dousing right now. Oh, is that what the necklace was for? Okay. There are several types of dousing techniques, but it seems like she uses a pendulum. It would seem that the necklace she wears can be used for such a purpose. The closer you get to the target, the stronger the pendulum swings. Let me think about this. Cersei is using her dousing ability to search for the descendant right now. What's that? Doesn't her dousing only let us look for spiritual energy? And on top of that, doesn't she have to be familiar with the energy she's looking for? That's right, I was thinking the same thing. I would assume there's like mermaid residual on the box. However, Cersei was perfectly prepared. Before parting with Ikoma yesterday, she asked him to hand the iron box to the descendant we had paid her when he paid her a visit. She said that the descendant ought to have it since it is so deeply connected to Taishima's history. Ikoma agreed on the matter and would apparently go through with it, assuming he did hand it over. And the iron box with its massive amount of spiritual energy has fallen right in the lap of our target. Now, Cersei just has to use her dousing to locate the box. At least that's the plan. I'd imagine, basically, at the point where we get her on the boat, Cersei's like, hold up, I sense some crazy magic powers coming this way. I'll hold it back. My question is, at what point does Avi decide that he needs to turn her into a fish? She seems focused. Best not to interrupt her now. I want to talk to her, actually. I'm going to interrupt her. Do I have to just keep thinking? Because I don't think there's much else we can do. I looked at her before, right? Yeah, same thing. Guess I'll keep thinking. However, her dousing's range is limited. With the spiritual energy the iron box possesses, its range is probably just 2 or 3 kilometers. So we had to narrow down the target area somewhat before starting our search. So, any idea where we might start looking for the descendant? I think Mr. Ikoma said something about visiting her several times before she finally agreed to talk, didn't he? He did, which would mean that she doesn't live far away, she's a difficult person. I kind of want to just say that for the fun of it. She's a difficult person. In other words, she's a difficult person to deal with. Well, yes, Mr. Ikoma did say as such, but that doesn't relate to her location. Dang! What I meant is that if he visited her several times, wouldn't that mean she doesn't live too far from here? Oh right, I see what you mean. So, I think it'd be best to start by searching the towns within Toba. I see, but there are quite a few towns in the area, right? About that, when we parted yesterday, Mr. Ikoma mentioned something else that stuck with me. When you asked to meet the descendant, he said he'd probably drop by later anyway, since he also had to handle the matter with Miss Suma. Alright, he did say that. So basically... I'd say close to Suma is the real answer. New Suma seems not as fun. He said it like he would drop by while he was in the area, so they likely lived close to one another. Yes, I was thinking the same. Those towns with many Ama divers are top candidates. Like if the other option was something funny, like, oh, she must be related to Suma, they must be sisters. Then that would have been a fun answer, but... So that means we should probably start by searching all the towns in Toba that are home to a lot of Ama divers. That's right, we can make our way up by searching along the coast for starters. It'd be nice if we'd at least learned the descendant's name. We might have a lead on that. Think of your research into the past of this place. Alright, I believe the name was... I'm a little confused about this, because we know who it is. But the file was... When we got the name, wasn't that part of the curse itself? It came up somewhere here. It wasn't this curse. It was the history, right? Like, this wasn't research. This was, like, all the information that flooded his mind. And in here, Samakawa came up. Which, like, you would... I don't know, you would think that would have came up a little bit more naturally than just saying we have that information on, like, our notes. I mean, there's also a lot of... Is that how you spelt it? Double check. Samikawa. Okay, yeah. Samikawa. That's what Taishima's survivor was called. If there were any descendants, then they may still bear the same name. That's right, it's another clue we can follow. Like, I just wish they would have been more clear on where we got that information, because as far as I could tell, we got it from the Curse Stone. And so we ended up spending the morning traveling along the coast from one fishing town to another. This is the 4th town we've searched so far. It's about time we actually find something. And then, like, realistically, we could put 2 and 2 together of the other timelines where we saw Cersei. And, we didn't necessarily see Avi take the boat, did we? We just saw, like, she was on a boat with a foreigner, and this is basically the foreigner we know. Well then, perhaps it's about time I checked in with Cersei to see how things are going. So Cersei, what's the sitch? Want to give it a try? Huh? Really? Will it still work if it's me? I'll still be holding the pendulum, but you can see for yourself if you'd like. Color me intrigued. I'm in. Maybe my, fish talisman can help us. Alright, just like this. I'll hold a pendulum, direct me to move in different directions to see where it reacts. Very well, bring it on. Does this help at all? The pendulum won't respond right away, so the trick is to point it in one direction and wait a while. Once you find the spot where it reacts the strongest, just shout that you figured it out. Got it. When it comes to yelling, I'm your guy. I mean, how many locations can we really, like, set this at in hopes of getting a reaction? What if I swing around wildly? I wonder, too, how long I'm supposed to wait in a spot. She's in the sky. I really would have assumed she was, like, out on the... that direction. She's in the ocean. Also, what? How are we doing this right now? I picture like Cersei riding on Avi's back, like what was his name from Mad Max? Master Blaster. I mean, like, as far as trying to find the box specifically, I would imagine it's in a building, right? Oh, it's reacting. I found it. It actually did react pretty fast. There, right there. Not quite. The reaction should be much stronger than that. Okay, so it takes a little time for it to react, so if you move around too fast, it might be hard to notice. We'll be searching this place high and low for information. So that's how it works. Gotcha. So is this close, though? It is going a little bit more... I mean, that's better. Okay, no, I see now. That's a little bit more extreme. A little bit more like what we're looking for. So right here, I'm assuming. It's spinning! There, right there. You got it. To be fair, I think Cersei should have given me that one. It was just like, yeah, it's pretty close. So that means it's somewhere up there? Well, it may still be a bit further out, but at least we figured out what direction to go. I knew it was about time we hit the right spot. Alright, let's follow this thing and see where it leads us. Right. Hopefully to some kind of sticker of sorts, of a bird. This is it. It's the apartment furthest back on the building's ground floor. Got it. Hello, anyone home? Wow, you don't hesitate, huh? We're here on behalf of Mr. Akoma. No answer. Guess no one's home. No, I can sense a presence. Hello, we'd like to talk about the iron box. What is it? You two, Avi and Cersei, is it? So you're the ones who found that iron box? Yes, that's right. You know, I've never talked to foreigners before. I'm so nervous I can hardly think straight. Please, no need to be so tense, Miss Samakawa. I promise we're both harmless and cheerful. Right. I'm looking around your room. Do you have any, stickers around? I know we just barged in, but stickers? She was more willing to meet us than expected. That iron box proved more useful than I thought. Nice work, Cersei. I'll treat you to more onigiri senpai later. So this is Miss Samakawa's home. Even with the lights on, it's strangely dark inside. Even though it's daytime, the shutters are kept tightly shut. You can hardly hear any noise from outside either. More surroundings. At a quick glance, I can't spot anything that looks like a tamatabako in the room. I suppose it makes sense she wouldn't just keep it out in the open. Cersei? She may look calm on the surface, but I know she must be excited to peek inside a traditional Japanese home. Well, a wooden apartment like this is pretty old school. I can see why she'd be geeking out. You're kind of making assumptions that she's geeking out. I'm so glad we got a chance to talk with her. Alright, never mind. The way she reacted there made it sound like she is geeking out. So, she is a descendant of the last Ise-Shima survivor. The way she dresses makes her look older, but I'd say she's probably around my age. I thought she'd be difficult to deal with, but now that we've actually met her, I'd say it's more like she's extremely cautious, the type to never let her guard down. I can't even begin to imagine the kind of life she's led. Like a mermaid life? Still, the fact that she's wearing a traditional clothing is actually quite charming. I've hardly seen anyone wearing traditional clothes since coming to Japan, which was a bit of a shock to be honest. Girl, why don't you have any stickers in your home? What's wrong with you? Let me think. She's more willing to meet with us. Okay. I don't know why I thought, like, clicking him would be a different option. Straight up just talk about it. The iron box. Talk about the iron box. Where exactly did you come across the iron box? I followed this map that was in my family's possession. Supposedly it was left behind by the Onmyoji who sealed away the curse of Ise-Shima. A map, you say? It led us to the iron box. It must have been resting at the bottom of the Ise Bay. Since it's such a valuable artifact deeply connected to Taishima's lost history, we felt we absolutely had to tell you about it, Miss Samakawa. Oh yeah? If I may say so, I noticed your interest in the iron box. Could it be you already knew of its existence? I didn't know it was a box, but I've been told something still remained of the island. That makes sense. Talk about her. I want to, like, not talk about the other thing until we are out of options. Allow me to emphasize what an honor it is to meet a descendant of Ise-Shima. Doesn't look too happy. Who's to say it's even true? I suppose your family must have lived in this town for generations? Didn't people not know where she came from? Was that a thing? It is unclear who she is and where she came from. She showed up in Toba about 5 years ago with nothing but a grubby wooden box. Again, the timeline matches up. If she really was a descendant that just lives here forever, people would have had some kind of rumor about that. So it still kind of sounds like she might be Mari. Nah, I moved here a couple years back. Also, if I just kept reading... If I just kept fucking reading. Oh, why's that? That's got nothing to do with the two of you. Ah, fair enough. Then if you don't mind me asking, do you have any other family or relatives, Miss Samakawa? Why? Apologies, I was merely wondering if there are any other descendants. To know, but I'm probably the only one left. That too will come to an end soon enough. Oh? What do you mean by that? No more than what I said? You happen to have, like, I was gonna say, like, a bite mark in your, like, stomach or something, where you maybe fed your child your flesh, but you would have had the box also if that worked out. More about the box. That was a bad joke, I'm sorry. Just the fact that she probably fed her flesh to her son to save him. Speaking of that box, I don't suppose there was something inside? Yes, inside was a record detailing how Ise-Shima was destroyed, along with information on the curse of the raging waves. A record? Oh, allow me to fill you in on the details. And that sums it up. Such a horrid man, wouldn't you say, massacring the people of Ise-Shima because he wanted to find a mermaid that bad. The grudges left behind by the events coalesced into two separate curses, and ultimately, Ise-Shima was destroyed along with everything else. I'm sure it must be excruciating to hear the tale of how your ancestors' home was destroyed. But I believe this story should be passed down to people so people can learn of Ise-Shima's true history, wouldn't you agree? And that was all recorded in that box? She doesn't believe it. She doesn't believe it. She thinks it's fishy. And it is kind of fishy if you take into account that there was the Forsaken fish in there. By the way, you may consider this the curious whims of a fantasy author, but would you be able to elucidate me on some of the stories that have been passed down in your family? Now I get it. You also came here because you want to ask about mermaids, eh? Irk! You got me. All I picture is the, Walter White, you got me gif. Alright, you got me there, it's true. But can you blame me? As a fantasy author, it is in my blood. If mermaids truly do exist, then I must sate my curiosity. I knew it. Whatever your motives, you're not getting the Tamatabako. I'm not falling for one of Ikoma's schemes. Ugh! But we got some information from that. Akomi is trying to get that box. I'm not gonna share the family legends of Ise-Shima with just anyone. Let me think about this too. We were caught. Oh, here we go! Miss Tamakawa brought up the Tamatabako all on her own. She really does have it then. Or knows about it at least. And just as I thought, Mr. Ikoma is after it too. That sneak. Talk about the iron box again. And that was all recorded in that box? I mean, we did we? We told Ikoma about the curse stone flooding his memories, right? So, I kind of feel like we might as well tell her. Talk about her again. So, do you live here by yourself, Miss Samakawa? That's right. And that's the end of that. I guess we'll just bring it up then, since she brought it up. Did you just say that Ikoma is after the Tamatabako? Oh, so you didn't know? Well, he is. That's exactly why I hid it somewhere no one will ever find it. I see. It must be very precious to you, then. Well, I'm relieved that iron box found its way to you, then. So, was there a cursed stone inside the iron box? A cursed what now? Look at him, he looks so suspicious. Both of them are just looking to the side, like, no, we don't know. Don't play dumb, there must have been one. The extreme zoom in. That they're both Cersei and Avi both just kind of like side glancing. Well, I would say just be honest. So you already knew about it. There was indeed a cursed stone inside. That's what I thought. Then how about a trade? You two want the Tamatabako, don't you? Oh, a trade. Interesting. And I guess that's what led us to go to the ocean, because that's where it is. She is an Ama diver, so she would be able to dive down there. I didn't think we'd be going this far out. You certainly shook me when you said we had to take a boat all of a sudden. To think the Tamatabako would be hidden at sea. What an incredible plot twist. So, okay, wait, this is the thing too, though. Could she, Samakawa, have turned herself into a fish? If she potentially could have done the immortality thing to herself, she could have turned the, original body into a fish while she transferred to a new body? Because, again, I can't picture Avi doing that. But then why was her fish her? To think the Tamatabako would be hidden at sea, what an incredible plot twist. Ah, my apologies. I guess it's just the writer in me coming through. This is all too thrilling. You sure can talk. Oh, believe it or not, I'm actually holding back. I can actually go on and on at great length once I get started. That wasn't praise. There's nowhere to run on an island. No matter where you go, someone's always near. It's always too loud, grating on the ears. The ocean was better though. The sea though, once you get this far out, it's nice and quiet. I loved when I used to live underwater as a mermaid. Nothing but the sound of the waves. No talking, no irritating folk or commotion. Only fish swimming without a sound. That's great, Samakawa, but you've been yapping for a while now. This is fine. Stop the boat. Let me look around. Any, stickers on the boat? Oh. Oh, the, like, seat there for a second I thought was something. We're somewhere off the coast of Toba City, accompanied only by the sound of the waves and the cries of seabirds. But not the seabirds I want, which are mockingbirds. Look at that, like, one just flying behind us. Is that a bird flying behind us, or is that some weird shit happening? Does she really hide the Tamatabako here in a place with no landmarks whatsoever? And if it's at the bottom of the ocean here, how are we supposed to retrieve it? Miss Tamakawa used to be an Ama diver. Could she be planning to go down and get it herself? Shikigami. Whoa! This is one of Circe's abilities, a Shikigami, so that's what that was. When someone's name is written on the piece of paper, she can make the paper fly towards that person. They're great for delivering messages or tracking down someone. I was pretty spooked at first time I saw it, but I've gotten used to it. Okay, fine, I did just go whoa, but not because I was actually surprised or anything. Is something wrong? Oh, it's nothing, don't mind me. I wonder if something happened to Circe. I'd better read the note. Let's take a look. Ran into 2 suspicious people looking for Miss Tamakawa. I drove them off for now, but be careful. Seems like something happened on Circe's end. I love how, like, they showed me Avi's name, but then blurred everything else out. I'd better stay alert, just in case, but I don't think I'll mention this to Miss Tamakawa. It'd only shake her up. So that was, like, there before I did my look at surroundings, right? And I just did not notice. I guess you might have to look up further than I did, or I'm just blind. But okay, that's cool to know. Nothing else we can really do but talk or look. She looks so solemn. I wonder what's going through her mind. Not gonna lie, I'm a little concerned she still hasn't told me the conditions of our trade. Will she ask me to trade her the cursed stone? It wasn't that... I'm sorry, I thought that was the condition. Was that not it? So you have the cursed stone, then how about a trade? You two want the... Like, I would assume, just based on the way the conversation was going, unless if she has more to say. But my assumption would have just been that. I've come all the way out here in the middle of the sea on Miss Tamakawa's request. This boat can only carry 2 people, so I've left Circe to watch the shore, so that's why this happened. I don't believe that it can only carry 2 people. Given that Ikoma's after the Tamatabako as well, he might try to interfere if he learns of this. So Circe is keeping an eye out to make sure he doesn't try to follow us. It's reassuring to have some backup. So someone has been tailing us all along. Like, why would you have these back seats then? 'Cause it's like 2 passenger seats, right? I don't know. I guess I don't know boats, so... I feel like they could hold at least 2 more people. Talk about the trade. So, will you tell me what you want to trade for the Tamatabako now? You've got the Forsaken Fish Curse Stone with you, right? Sure do. Have a good look. The Forsaken Fish Curse Stone. Looks like the real deal, alright. You want to trade this stone for the Tamatabako, right? I figured as much. Well, I'm fine with those terms. Let's do it. Just don't turn me into a fish once you get it. No, that ain't it. Oh? That ain't it? Is the terms that she wants him to turn her into a fish? She was talking about how she loves the goddamn ocean. You know, I once had a sister. Oh, that's what this is? Well, okay. But, okay. I once had a sister. Her name was Mare Samakawa. You say you had a sister. Does that mean... Yes, she's gone. Died in an accident at sea about 5 years ago. I see. My condolences. So there actually was another descendant. You folks seem to be pinning your hopes on me just because I'm one of the descendants. But the one who actually inherited our duties wasn't me, it was my sister. Your duty? That's right, the duty of the Ise-Shima bloodline. It's been passed down in our family for generations. We could still go with the idea that both of them are mermaids. If the sister thing is accurate, there were 2 mermaids. Even more, our generation would be the one to handle the 400th year since... Yeah, I don't know why I read that weird. Our generation would be the one to handle the 400th year since the disaster. My grandpa always said that was particularly important. So there was a duty Taishima's descendants were meant to perform after 400 years? But I was young back then. I still had dreams of my own. I wanted no part in some annoying duty, so I ran away from home the first chance I got. I was gonna say, it's weird to have only one person be responsible for the duties when both of you could potentially be. But having someone not wanting to do it and running away makes sense, obviously. I pushed all that responsibility onto my sister, but I know I should have helped her. I see. So that's why your sister was the one who inherited that duty. Such tragic music. So it wasn't Miss Samakawa who inherited the family duty, but her older sister. This is probably part of her so-called request. I'm curious, so I might as well hear her out. Her duty? This duty you mentioned. Was it to break what remains of the curse of the raging waves? I suppose they were connected, but lifting the curse would have been a step along the road, but it wasn't the goal. Was the goal to get back to Ryogu? Oh, really? Then what was it? Well, it was to return the mermaid that was left behind in Ise Bay to Ryogu. That was the real duty of the Ise-Shima bloodline. Return a mermaid? The mermaid. One mermaid. So we still don't know what happened to one of the other ones then? Unless if the one left behind was the, Forsaken fish, right? Like, left behind because she died, she wasn't able to return to Ryogu. I would assume, like, even with the raging waves, that the, mermaids would have been allowed to come back to Ryogu if they wanted to. So it's true, there really was a mermaid stuck in Ise Bay because she couldn't return to Ryogu. That's right, her name was Sobai, so no, different mermaids. Oh, she's come up in our research, so she was real after all. You see, my sister that took on the family duty, it seems like she actually met Sobai herself. She got to meet the mermaid? I'm trying to think if I'm going to, like, back off on Mare being a mermaid or not. Or just assume that... Like, obviously, I don't think Samakawa would say, actually, I'm a mermaid to Avi, but do we just take it at face value that maybe they really are just descendants of Ise-Shima? After leaving my hometown and making a living as an Ama diver, I'd all but forgotten about the duty I'd left behind. I had no idea that what our duty actually entailed. When I finally learned the truth, I was crushed by regret. I mean, I guess because of the seal, they probably wouldn't have been able to return to Ryogu, right? Because that would have been, like, in the seal itself, I would assume. I guess I don't know, like, on a physical sense, what is sealed? Is it the whole island? I know the storm is sealed because of it, but, like, maybe it's more metaphysical. I don't know. Obviously, it was realistically sealed because Sato was sealed away with something, as well as the iron box, so it would have been like rock sealing it away, right? I had no idea what our duty actually entailed. When I finally learned the truth, I was crushed by regret. Regret? Why? You know, ever since I was a little girl, I'd always been fascinated by mermaids. Understandable. I also like mermaids, if you couldn't tell. I read The Little Mermaid so many times, the pages of the book had started to wear away. I would see them in my dreams over and over. Back then, I wanted nothing more than to become a mermaid. It's what led me to become an Ama diver in the first place. So she wants the fish stone to turn her into a mermaid? Is that what this is? But the true nature of the family duty is only revealed to the one who inherits it. I see. What bitter irony. But couldn't you meet the mermaid after you learned the truth? My sister took pity on me and attempted to call her to meet me once in secret. My sister, Mare, even shared some of the things the mermaid had told her. But you know, Sobe was a cautious mermaid who never truly opened her heart to anyone but my sister. Me, on the other hand, she avoided. I was never even allowed as much as a glimpse. Quite the bitter outcome. Mari and the mermaid had grown close as friends. They trusted each other. They were inseparable. I mean, this is a lot of a story to have it turn out that they were mermaids, so I guess Sobe just saved Yuza for the sake of her friend Mare, right? But she never once showed herself to anyone other than my sister, not even to a close relative like myself. So she hid herself away for 400 years? Was such caution really necessary? She was a mermaid, I can't blame her. Your sister must have been an incredible person to earn the mermaid's trust. Though I can only imagine how hard it must have been to be rejected by an existence you so deeply admired and longed to meet. Mari moved to Kameshima to be closer to Ryogu, all for the mermaid's sake. Then one day she got married and changed her name to Yuza Minakuchi. She seemed so happy. So she got married on Kameshima. I was so jealous, I couldn't think straight, and ended up lashing out pretty badly. In an attempt to destroy my sister's relationship with the mermaid, I grabbed our family heirloom and ran off. Ah, the infamous Tamatabako, yes? Yeah, the mermaid was supposed to take it back to Ryogu, so our family had carefully kept it for centuries. And so, the years went by. Then, 5 years ago, I heard that Mari had died in an accident. That's why I came back to Toba. I thought that maybe this meant the duty would be passed on to me. Of course. But by then our parents and all our relatives had already passed away. There was no one left who knew about our duty. There was nothing I could do. You would think they would have written it down somewhere, especially if they knew they at least still had a descendant that could possibly deal with it. I didn't know a thing, not even the mermaid. Not where the mermaid was, nor how to call her. I'd given up. But while I was digging around, that man Ikoma found out I was a descendant of Ise-Shima. You see, I was struggling to get by. I'd sold the information my sister had told me about the mermaids. Back then, I was making a living by giving folks a glimpse of the Tamatabako for a ridiculous price. They did say they didn't know how she had money, so that makes sense. She's being kind of like paid off by Ikamo. And that brings us to the present, I suppose. Although the fact that she was like showing off stuff, I felt like would have came up. I also got the O and A mixed up on Ikoma, so I'll never really remember his name. It was like right in the next text too. Oh, there it is. So it's true. There really is a mermaid here in Ise Bay. If that mermaid really still exists, then we might be able to make contact. Yes, there must be a way. Talk about the trades. Before we discuss the trade, would you take the time to listen to my story? Very well, I'm listening. Well then don't stop talking, girl. Keep on going on. In other words, since your sister died in that accident, your family's duty was never fulfilled? And now you want to go find the mermaid for you? And now you want us to go find the mermaid for you? That ain't it. Dang. I guess it must have been about 3 months ago. I was wandering the coast alone when the mermaid Sobe appeared before me. Oh, you finally got to meet her? She told me this 3 months ago. The seal on Ryogu's gateway has been lifted, so I will be returning. Your sister has done a great deal for me, and now ask you to return the Tamatabako. Wait, what? The seal was lifted? Ah, is that perhaps why the curse of the raging waves became active again? So what about the Tamatabako? Did you return it to the mermaids? I was so overcome with emotion and excitement, I told her, I've hidden the relic. If you want it back, take me to Ryogu. You said that? I love every time Avi does that. Not being able to fulfill my duty had been weighing heavy on my heart. But in that moment, that pain was gone. On top of that, I figured the mermaid had come to fetch me. Being able to visit the land of the mermaids, there'd be no greater happiness than that. But Sobe simply told me it wasn't possible and that she'd forfeit the relic, and with that, she was gone. That's crazy that she immediately was like, I don't care enough about the box, I'm out of here. Oh. So the mermaid has already returned to Ryogu then. Ever since then, all I've felt is despair and regret. I'm completely empty inside, there's nothing left. So, if everything we've heard is to be believed, there is one mermaid still not accounted for, right? About the Tamatabako. But then, the Tamatabako still exists, doesn't it? Sure it does, but... even with such a fancy name, in the end, it's just a grimy old box. I opened it once. I was hoping there'd be some elixir of eternal youth inside, or something, but it was completely empty. I see. Even so, I'd still like to trade for it. Are you sure? I don't see why, but whatever. I mean, I guess if she doesn't know about the mermaid meat part. It's not like anything matters anymore. I'm just sick and tired of it all. So, like, this really does sound like we're just gonna do, like, an assisted suicide thing. Which, like, sucks, but I kind of think that is the only timeline of this has to happen. Like, I don't think we can say no. My family's duty has been fulfilled. That's what I meant when I said it was all over. Except the Raging Waves is still active, but I guess Avi doesn't really know much about how that pans out, so maybe he believes it's over. In the end, I never did figure out what the Tamatabaki really was. The mermaid forfeited it just like that, so maybe it never had any meaning to begin with. I do wonder why she was so willing to forfeit it, like not worry about it. Also, yeah, wait, okay, no. Because if we're to believe that Yuza was fed mermaid flesh, unless again it was a well, Yumeko says that Sato isn't the original body either, which we kind of glossed over that. Like, Sato didn't seem to pay much mention of that. So it would have still been that same effect if Yuza ate mermaid flesh. They would have needed the box for that, right? Talk about the trade. So, what do you want in return? I want to do whatever it takes to become a mermaid. Miss Samakawa, don't tell me. You want me to use the curse stone? Simply returning to the sea, that's my only wish. No, listen, there's nothing even remotely beautiful about the curse of the Forsaken Fish. All it will do is turn you into some twisted half-fish monster. Nothing but a grotesque imitation of a mermaid. I know. That's fine with me. This curse is the essence of that mermaid's power. I'm ready to offer up my life to her. But... whatever you do, I'll just be drowning myself anyway. Fuck. So you won't be dirtying your hands. All you have to do is use the curse. My wish will be granted, and you would be doing me a kindness. That's all there is to it. Isn't it, like, excruciating pain? Like, I know drowning's not good either. I've heard about how drowning is a very painful death. But I'd imagine it would still be like, I don't know, it would still be a courtesy to let her drown instead of turning her into a fish. All you have to do is use the curse, my wish will be granted, and you would be doing me a kindness. That's all there is to it. Just hold on a minute, okay? This is just... The Tamatabako is hidden beneath the floorboards of my house. Please do this for me. Miss Samakawa, wait! Oh, she's already gone. Will she come back up if I just wait long enough? Oh, fuck, man. Damn it, what now? What do I do? Should I grant her last wish? It's surely no worse than helplessly standing about as she drowns herself. Right, she was serious about this. She's been dreaming about mermaids ever since she was little. I know exactly how that feels. It may be a curse, but still, I will honor her wishes by unleashing the mermaid's power. It's how she wanted to go. I might be the only one who actually understands Miss Samakawa's feelings. I feel like we don't really have a choice, right? If I don't act now, it'll be like denying her final hopes and dreams. Like... Fuck, man. I don't like this at all. I feel like it has to be done. But... surely she can hold her breath for a long time. She's nowhere to be seen, of course. She is an Ama diver after all. Is it too late to call for help? Would she even accept it? I think the only way you could is if you jumped in right after her. Maybe only one who actually understands. Oh! Do you think not doing it is an option, or will we just be sitting here for the whole time? Oh, profile's updated. That's cool. Oh, we got a full breakdown, so I'm gonna assume everything she said was true then. So, Mari is not a mermaid. Azusa Samakawa. A woman living in Toba, although she occasionally does work as an ama diver. We got all that. As Yuza Minakuchi's younger sister, Azusa is also a descendant of the sole survivor of Ise-Shima. Following the destruction of Ise-Shima, the Samakawa line hid themselves away, living for generations in a small village within the city of Shima. The book The Little Mermaid was a constant fixture in the household, a decision made so that the children of the family would grow up with a familiarity with mermaids. And Azusa read it repeatedly as she grew up. The tale... We also got Sobe as a, profile. I wonder if we have a picture of that. The decision made so that the children of the family would grow up with a familiarity of mermaids, and Azusa read it repeatedly as she grew up, the tale fueling a fervent admiration for mermaids within her. Upon realizing that she could never be a mermaid herself, she instead decided to become an ama diver, thinking that it would at least allow her to swim freely through the sea like the beings she so admired. Thus resolved, she left her hometown behind, leaving the family duty, nothing more than a troublesome burden to Azusa, to be handled by her elder sister alone. For all intents and purposes, it appeared that Azusa's wish had been granted. However, upon returning home following her parents' deaths, she was taken aback to learn that the family duty inherited by Mari was in itself deeply connected to mermaids. Forgetting how she had pushed the duty onto Mari to follow her own desires, Azusa grew deeply resentful of her sister, accusing her of keeping the mermaid to herself and asserting her right to take up the family duty. But it was too late. Mari and the mermaid had already forged an unbreakable bond that no amount of words or deeds could undo. Following Mari's death, she was finally able to meet the being that had enchanted her for so long. However, her desperate plea for the mermaid to take her back to Ryogu with her was met with staunch refusal, and the mermaid left shortly after, never to return. With her opportunity to fulfill the family duty gone and her chance at connecting with mermaids lost, Azusa sank into despondency, spending her days in an empty haze. Amidst this despair, the curse of the forsaken fish that appeared before her seemed to be a final chance to have her wish granted. How did she learn about the forsaken fish if she wasn't really privy to most of the family? I guess there had to have been some amount of information that got back to her. A final chance to have her wish granted. Driven by regret over what she perceived as a life of wrong choices and consumed by her obsession, she threw herself into Ise Bay and surrendered herself to the curse, ultimately dying due to its effects. Her form, writhing in the agony brought on by her sudden transformation, bore no resemblance to the mermaid she had once so admired as a child. Yet it is said that the expression on her face when her body was discovered a day later in Futamagara seemed somewhat content. That was true, that was brought up that it was content. Yeah, fucked up, man. Yeah, there we go, that's the mermaid. One of 3 mermaids who were said to have lived near Ise-Shima about 400 years ago, she has since returned to her home, Ryogu. I would imagine that if we didn't do anything, it would either just have Avi trigger the curse by himself, or it would just have nothing happen until we eventually hit the button. After that. Look how happy Avi is! We managed to quietly retrieve the Tamatabako from beneath the floor in Miss Samakawa's house. All that was left to secure the dream of immortality was to obtain mermaid flesh. Since Sobe had already returned to Ryogu, we placed our hopes on the last remaining mermaid, not Nagami. But we had to act fast, otherwise a coma or even those Paranormal Affairs Bureau psychics would get in our way. It might have been the after effects of using the curse, but I got sick the next day and had to spend a full day bedridden at the end. How pathetic. I feel like the emotional turmoil of doing that also might affect you. Like, I don't feel good about it, and this is a video game. I didn't actually do anything to anyone for real. That's when I heard news that 2 female divers had gone missing near Toba. The fact that so that wasn't related to the one that, Ikoma sent out. I'm pretty sure I got it right that time. The fact that I'd been involved in both incidents made me feel even worse. Oh, fuck, no, I'm stupid. It is. The first one was the one that Ikoma sent out. The second one was, Samakawa, because she was an Alma diver as well. I'm stupid. I don't know why I never put that together. When Cersei heard the news, she just mumbled something with an unreadable expression on her face. I had no choice, there was simply no other way. Or at least that's what I kept telling myself as I struggled to get out of bed. The next day, August 7th, we set out to gather more information on Nagami and the other mermaids. Right, Avi knew about Mare, so this is where he got that information. We traveled to Kameshima, the island where Mare Samakawa, or rather Mare Minakuchi, used to live. He like, remembered the name Minakuchi. He said, like, something about that being familiar. I will go back and see if anything can possibly happen, but I do think we're kind of stuck on a specific time frame of they have to find the body in this investigation. So I really don't think there's anything we could have done. Oh, she jumped in the water. She's nowhere to be seen. So she, like, gets down there quick, which I guess an Alma diver probably would be able to outswim Avi even if he tried to swim after her to, like, bring her back to shore. It would be really funny if there was a sticker here just for this moment. Like, oh yeah, she's drowning herself. Let's just have fun with mockingbirds. I did see, while I was running through things, Mare's profile did update, but it mostly just mentioned that her original name was Mare Samakawa, and that she moved, just saying, I guess we can look at it. We have time. More than 20 years ago, arrived on Kameshima with no possession to her name, expressing that she had taken a liking to the local environment and wanted to move there. However, she remained tight-lipped about her background, only revealing that she was from a small town on the mountains and that she had to leave her home for undisclosed reasons. And although her request to move to Kameshima was accepted, many islanders remained suspicious of her. And then I think everything else was basically the same. It didn't mention that people noticed her being, like, by the shore, doing something at the shore a lot of the time, which obviously would have been her talking to the mermaids. But other than that, let's just wait till someone drowns. I was gonna say something. I do wonder how information about her being tied to Ise-Shima came about. Unless if it was from the psychic in Tokyo, who somehow knows enough to be able to get some information to Wakamura. Yeah, I really think this is just gonna be a... She actually just surfaces and says, like, damn, I really was hoping you would do it. I mean, at a certain point, even if you are an Alma diver, it's not like you can hold your breath this long. I can't believe I actually killed Yuza 5 times. Oh, what is wrong with me? To be fair, like, the first time, nothing's gonna happen. It was greed, but I guess, like, real life, you wouldn't be greedy for grabbing stuff. You would want to immediately make sure you had enough air to live. So it does make sense. I'm gonna say nothing comes from this then. Should I grant her last wish? I don't think anyone could really be down there for so long. What tragic music. What a tragic event. Like, I don't even want to use the curse again. I want to leave. Okay, so arriving on Kameshima. Wonder if we'll bump into Yumeko at any point, since we are both on the island at the same time. The tragedy of Kameshima is obviously what we want to do. Did I miss? Oh, this updated. When did this update? We had been assigned the duty of protecting a relic important to the mermaids. That was the box. Tumitaka eventually made it to the seas near the island, but a fierce anger and resentment darkened the waters around it. And the curse born from those dark emotions. Rukaje volunteered. Did we know, like, fully about the bronze mirror? With her noble sacrifice, the storm last died down and peace was restored. A bronze mirror in Princess Hatsune's possession at the time was imbued with power to serve as a talisman to calm raging waves. Passed down from person to person over the years, eventually making its way to Kameshima. Also able to seal the curse in the forsaken fish and a wooden accessory that Princess Hatsune had been wearing. Oh, right, that would be the stone itself. What a, like, ugly stone to be wearing, I feel like. We did read that part. Afterwards, Kuki Yashitaka infuriated. Oh, Fate of the Mermaids is probably what updated it. After Harakage sealed the entrance to Ryogu, the two remaining mermaids, Nagami and Sobe, were left unable to return home. Nagami, free-spirited by nature and yearning to explore the seas beyond Ryogu, seized the opportunity to travel the world, a journey that would span the next 400 years, enamored by the idea of a fairy tale romance. She was said to have been enthused at the thought of finding her own tale of eternal love as she left. However, the more serious Sobe was deeply affected by Hayashi's sacrifice. Mourning her loss and filled the longing to return home to Ryogu, she spent her days hidden in the depths of Ise Bay, weeping bitterly. Tamakawa, the sole survivor of the Taishima Islands, saw Sobe's tears and vowed to protect her, promising to do all he could to ensure her return to Ryogu one day. The treasure the mermaids entrusted to him, a tamatabako, has been passed down through generations of the Samakawa family as proof of the oath being honored by his descendants 400 years ago. Nagami wanted a fairy tale romance. Wanting to find eternal love. That seems interesting.